You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. It is great to be back. I am still Daniel and still alive.
Still alive, still Daniel, and back in the fold, back in the saddle with us here on Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by betonline.net. Betonline.net, your sportsbook experts. Daniel and I's favorite spot to go. We will talk about them here in a moment. Daniel, you missed a lot. Turns out it was quite a week. We're going to get to that week because we hired some new coaches. We got some new analysts.
That's right.
People are all up in their feels about how they think this new analyst is going to tank the program that has just won a national championship.
Gene, I can't. I was gone from the podcast, away, some family time, a little trip with the family, not dead in a ditch somewhere. Thank you for your concern. But I did get into the comments a little bit. Listen, there's some of y'all, God love you. Thanks for being here. If you're watching on YouTube, jump down into those comments. Let us know. Subscribe, leave us a rating review. If you're listening on audio, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Love having you along. Thank you for subscribing. Tell a friend about the show. We got a bunch of stuff planned for the off season. About to jump into a series of episodes where we dive into some of the newest Georgia Bulldogs, the newest members of the team. Not recruits anymore, Clint.
Because they're signed.
They're now members of the team, and so
Yes,
we will talk about them is what we will do. Got a bunch of stuff on that coming up, but as you said, going to talk about some assistant coaches, outside linebackers coach in the fold, UzoDiribe, and so we're excited about him. Going to talk a little bit of Mike Bobo stuff, but before we do any of that, Clint,
okay,
we should maybe just meander over to the plains and see what's happening over. Anything going on over there?
Guys, real quick question: Did Georgia hire the right football coach 6 years ago to go ahead and steer the program? Did Georgia hire the culture fit, the head coach, the intellect, the passion, the character, the integrity? Yes, yes, and yes. And if we just look on over, hey Zach, by the way, how you doing, brother? What's up? What's up?
To the pod.
Glad you're here. You just take your gaze meander it over there to Auburn, and you see a dumpster fire. Now, there was a little prophetic message in this, Daniel. Last week when you were in here, I was talking about culture fits, and I was talking about.
You put on the ropes?
I put on the ropes. I stared into a candle. The candle just seared me in the eyes. And I made a prediction that good old ball coach Bryan Harsin didn't have what it takes to coach at Auburn. Not because he's not a good coach. I think he is a good coach.
Sure. Lots of people are good coaches.
Lots of people are good coaches, y'all. But because in the SEC, in particular at a school like Auburn, who has no idea that they will never be a national powerhouse annually. Okay?
Correct.
Auburn. So you should take the Gus bus every now and then that gets you into position to win and take all the weird quirks that come with it. Bryan Harsin does not win and does not speak and does not do the things the way that boosters and people at Auburn want him to. Now that sounds weird because isn't winning? But I made the parallel. All y'all were mad at Kirby because he wasn't recruiting Georgia boys to begin with. And all of a sudden he is now. And but he won a national championship with it. Bryan Harsin wasn't winning, had Derek Mason, the second best defensive coordinator in all the SEC leave. And all of a sudden it comes out that he also, when he was packing up the house in Idaho.
What? Okay. Well, it's hard to move across the country. You got to make sure you gotta make sure you have everything. You
gotta make a list, right?
That's what you gotta do. Make a list,
and you prioritize.
That's right. Some things move up on the list.
And up on the list for Bryan was a good old assistant to the head coach position of a one-time student of Boise State, who is now rumored, again, let's let the record state we are following the tea leaves here, rumored to have some sort of connection, shall we say. Is that
we're trying to keep that all audiences rating as best
real?
we can. The only thing Bryan Harsin did not do is come out to his press conference wearing a neck brace. That's about the only thing that he did not do.
All of you on Twitter that made that for me, thank you. Thank you on behalf of all of us who superimposed Bryan Harsin's face right onto a ball coach who got hit in that motorcycle.
What if I told you that not only is there a scandal, the affair at Jordan Hare, as it's being called by some.
Golly, it's so good.
What if I told you that not only is that, not only are the best players on the team leaving in droves? What if I told you that not only are former players coming out and talking about how Bryan Harsin-led program, quote, treats them like dogs?
Okay. Huh.
But what if I told you this same head coach managed to go 7-6 in his first year? That you said winning cures everything. Unfortunately, that does not apply to this situation.
No.
Will he? This is my question. Will he coach week 1 of next year at Auburn?
Oh, okay. Thank you. I was going to say, yeah, he will. He will coach somewhere week 1. I think he coaches at Auburn, Daniel. We're too late in the game.
I think he survives this. I think it's too late. I think
it's too late in the game. You're going to go ahead and hire somebody that's not going to be your guy long term. You're punting on the season anyway. You go ahead and get him in. He's fired after week 8 or 9. Whenever somebody comes available, he's gone. The second that happens, he's gone. But he survives this. He plays or he coaches week 1.
You brought this up. Some people were not happy when we hired Kirby Smart. Some people have not been happy the entire tenure. Some people are still not happy.
Currently are griping, Daniel. Again, national champions and currently griping of the way that Kirby's conducting this program.
Let me just take you on a stroll of some of Georgia's biggest rivals.
Ooh, here we go.
Since Kirby Smart has been hired as a head coach.
Okay.
These are the names of the other people who've been hired as head coach. Florida hired Dan Mullen as their head coach since Kirby Smart was hired as the head coach. They've since hired Billy Napier. Who's to say what the Billy Napier tenure will be like? He did win one Sun Belt championship in his last year. In 4 tries, he won the Sun Belt championship.
You can't take that from him.
You'll never. Just like you can't take the Cotton Bowl victory from Alabama. You'll never take that away from them. Nick Saban wants you to know that.
Good for
Moral
you, Nick.
victory season. Auburn has hired Bryan Harsin. Tennessee has hired Jeremy Pruitt. Okay. Listen, Georgia fans, we got our guy. And I don't care who says what. Every program in college football would trade their head coach for Kirby Smart right now.
In an instant.
So kudos to you, Bryan Harsin, for somehow managing to keep your job through all this. And can't wait to see what new heights you take the Auburn football program to.
It's going to be fantastic. Hey, we're going to come back after this, right after I let you know about BetOnline.net. BetOnline.net, your sportsbook experts. Daniel and I love sports betting. It's no lie. We don't even try to hide it. We are very open and public about it. Whether that be, I don't know, a little thing called March Madness coming up here real soon.
Ooh. We're going to do a whole, once between Sunday and Thursday, we do a whole episode filling out brackets. Just revealing our bracket picks.
100%. Mm-hmm. Whether it's March Madness, whether it's UFC, college football is done for the season, but futures are going to come out. Heisman futures are going to go ahead and get some sprinkle a little on Stetson Bennett, according to some people.
The Weldon brothers are telling you. they're trying to tell you on here. Just a little bit.
Don't do it. BetOnline.net, your sportsbook experts. Head over there right now. It's where all of our bets go. It's where we trust them. Futures, over-unders, they have it all. It is safe. It's reliable. We love them. And they have that new website, betonline.net.
You love to see it, Clint. Sports betting, it's fantastic. I hear there's something coming up on Sunday people enjoy gambling about. I'm not sure even what it's called. Even if I was sure what it was called, I wouldn't be allowed to say it on this podcast.
We can't say
the
better than ordinary, the not subpar.
It's not the Cheez-Its Bowl, I'll tell you that. It is not the Cheez-Its Bowl. Okay. Let's talk about coaching hires.
Let's.
Outside linebackers coach in the fold. Obviously, Georgia co-defensive coordinators at this point with Will Muschamp and Shu. So that role is filled from Dan Lanning's departure, but the position group that Dan Lanning was coaching, the outside linebackers, still yet to be filled, but no longer rising star in the coaching world. Most recent stop at TCU. He was at SMU for a bit. Before that, had a playing career, a little stint in the NFL. But UzoDiribe comes into this Georgia staff, Clint, and I love the hire. I didn't know a ton about this guy, but the more you read about this guy and the more you see the kind of coaches and players that this guy has worked with and
there it is
under, you just love bringing in a young rising star in the coaching world. Listen, the fact of the matter is Georgia's already got Kirby Smart and Will Muschamp. These are two veteran defensive minds, okay? Elite veteran defensive minds. And so what Georgia needs to continue to have is an influx of young talent on the coaching staff. You mentioned that a couple of weeks ago on the pod, and I think this is a perfect example of just that.
This is a home run hire across the board. He's well regarded. He's up and coming. If Kirby knows anything, he can take the shots that he knows these personnel. Do you trust another guy more than Kirby Smart to make character and personnel decisions? Again, remember, please, for the sanctity of all that is good and holy, you all did not like Todd Monken hire when you heard, because you said, who?
Yeah. You didn't like
who? You didn't like it. Turns out he's fantastic. This guy is young, up and coming. Again, highly, highly respected by other coaches, highly sought after. Get him into Georgia, mold him. Again, Glenn Shue is a great, great example. We have old, wily vets that still got a lot of fight left. Kirby is as passionate as they come. Muschamp will just absolutely peel paint off of any structure that you want by getting it fired up.
The vein in his neck, but it's not.
I don't
want
to mess with it.
Weapon. He has a permit to carry it.
Even if he didn't, he don't care. So this is a great hire all the way across. I think he can develop very well. I think he's going to be asking people to, I don't know. Maybe, you know what? I bet he don't allow none of that in his position meetings, Daniel. I bet that's
silence your cell phones, for crying out loud. No, he's going to come in. He's going to bring energy. He's going to bring a presence to the on the field coaching, but then he's also going to be out pounding the pavement in recruiting. And this is the type of guy that you want on the staff. And so, listen, if I trust Kirby Smart to do anything, it's to make defensive coaching staff hires. He literally has not missed on one ever as a head coach. So
never.
I guess maybe come talk to me when he does, but they all get promoted, they all move up, and they all get better jobs. This is, You take a guy who was coaching outside linebackers before. He makes it's not a lateral move because TCU to UGA is not a lateral move in any stretch
No.
by any stretch of the imagination. And he puts himself in position to learn from the best in the business, Kirby Smart. So I couldn't love the hire more. We're going to come back in the next segment, and we're going to talk a little bit about something Clint mentioned last week, but I feel that I need to weigh in because some of y'all, it's the more you know segment is coming, Clint. We're bringing it.
But first, I want to let you know about Built Bar. Built Bar is the tastiest protein bar on planet Earth. How do we know? We've tried them. And when we say we've tried them, we have tried all of them. Whatever flavor Built Bar has, we have put them into our mouth, and they are delicious. They are high in fiber, high in protein, low in sugar, keto approved, which, by the way, Daniel, I'm starting that this week. I'm going back on the keto.
Oh, right? Oh,
back on the keto.
To you. So just nothing but Built Bars. You just
nothing. Give me that Built Bar right now. Good thing.
Built Bars.
Good thing right now they have a multitude of textures. They are soft, they are chewy, and they taste like a candy bar. That's right, a protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. That's Built Bar. Head over there right now to BuiltBar.com. Let them know we sent you by putting LOCKEDON15 into the promo code, and you're going to get 15% off your entire order of Built Bar. That's right. 1 box, 2 box, 5 boxes, 10 boxes. Whatever you do, mix and match one flavor of all of them. Built Bar has everything that you need. Best protein bar on planet Earth because it tastes like a candy bar. BuiltBar.com. Promo code LOCKEDON15.
All right, Clint.
Do you need the floor for this? I feel like you need the floor.
Listen, you brought up Mike Bobo last week on the podcast. Georgia, Kirby makes the hire, and Mike Bobo is brought on to the coaching staff. Oh, wait. No, he's not.
Nope.
Mike Bobo, I should repeat, is not a member of the University of Georgia football coaching staff.
Correct.
He rather is serving as an analyst in the offensive meeting room. Now, listen, some of y'all just at the name Mike Bobo begin to sweat profusely. You begin to just all of your worst nightmares begin crashing back into you. And listen, Georgia fans, I thought we covered this leading up to the national championship game. Do you remember when we sat here and Alabama fans laughed in our face, just laughed in our face?
They did.
Because we sat here and told you that 2017 doesn't matter anymore. It's gone. It's in the past. 2012. The 2012 SEC championship game, it's in the past. It's gone. It doesn't matter. But some of you can't get past your absolute vitriol for Mike Bobo. Mike Bobo, who, by the way, led some of the most potent offenses to ever take the field for the University of Georgia. Simple facts. But that's not the dumbest part. The dumbest part, Clint, is that he's not even a coach. We still have an offensive coordinator. Nay, we still have the best offensive coordinator in the Southeastern Conference. Okay? Todd Monken did not go to the NFL.
We thought he was, by the way. We thought he was done.
Well, it was reported if you paid for the site, if you paid the money to get the access to the site, it was reported that it was basically a done deal. So, oh no. There are no gurus or insiders. Todd Monken not going anywhere, Clint.
Nope.
I'm sorry. Is Mike Bobo going to come in and boss Todd Monken around? I think Todd Monken will probably just hold up a national championship ring and say, when I want your opinion, I'll ask for your opinion. If you are a person who thinks Mike Bobo doesn't know offensive football, you're an idiot.
There it is.
If you're a person who thinks more educated voices is worse than less educated voices,
here we go.
You're an idiot. That's life. That's the way things are. Okay?
It's the simplest equation ever.
Yeah, it's positive for Georgia. It's a net positive for Georgia. Period.
All you have to do is there is no risk on this. Okay, guys?
No.
Zero. Only good can come from this. Only good.
But he calls bad plays, Clint.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What does an analyst do one more time?
It probably calls the plays, I assume.
Nope. That was the
No.
national championship winning offensive coordinator Todd
So
Monken.
it doesn't matter that he calls bad plays?
No.
But-
No, it's like that friend of yours, Daniel. If I could go the worst case scenario, the guy that you have in your life that gives you every single piece of advice every day about what car you should buy, about the way you should walk, about what app to get, and all of them turn out wrong. Okay?
Every single one.
But you know what? Every once in a while, he knows how to cook and smoke meat like nobody's business. And all of a sudden he comes in
weirdly specific to a particular friend of yours, didn't it?
100%. All of a sudden you're like, "Oh, I want your advice all day long right now." Guys, that's what he's up to right now. Todd just gets to put him into a corner and say, "Do not talk unless I want these things." And then he gives them because, again, Mike Bobo is good at those things.
So, I mean, third and Bobo could literally not be less relevant. That he doesn't call the plays. But what if he runs another draw? He doesn't call the plays.
There it is.
Todd Monken calls the plays, and Todd Monken is the best offensive coordinator that Georgia's ever had and that currently exists in the Southeastern Conference. And so I'm just fine with the setup. I'm just fine with the way things are. Hire all the analysts. You realize it's free to you, the Georgia fan. The athletic department is paying Mike Bobo handsomely, might I add.
I don't.
We don't have to pay him. It's free to us.
Oh.
And our team just gets more good information. Like literally, he's going to be watching film and talking about what the tendencies of the opposing defenses are on third and medium. That's his job. You understand? And he's better at that than you will ever be at most anything you will try to do in your life.
At walking down the street.
So why not just let the man do his job and let Kirby hire this guy who literally doesn't take up a spot on the coaching staff because he's not on the coaching staff? All right. I can't anymore.
I can't.
Mike Bobo is at Georgia as an analyst and it's fit. Now listen, if Kirby Smart promotes Mike Bobo to offensive coordinator, believe me, we'll have a different conversation. You and I will have a different conversation.
But that day is not today.
No, it's not happening.
Not happening. Hey, this has been Locked On Bulldogs here on Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'll be back tomorrow. Daniel and I talking more UGA football and other things. We'll talk to you guys then.
See ya.